weekly review of Life After Lockup season 6, the season finale. Okay, if it's your first time joining me, go ahead and like this video, comment in the comment section, and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so I'm a little late, y'all. I apologize. Normally I come on at 6 o'clock. However, church I had church today. After that, I had to go get my hair done. I got these pipe cleaners in my hair from getting my hair done. What's up, Kelly? And so I'm a little late, but I'm here, y'all. Let me know, Kelly, if you could hear me. Give me a thumbs up. I do have my little microphone on, but I did not want to hold it. However, if I need to, I feel like when I hold it, I sound more clearer, but you know, it's on the shirt. So hopefully it picks up the voice just fine. Okay. I didn't even get a chance to watch this episode. I had to watch it on the road on the way. No, I watched it, but I didn't get a chance to take notes. And so I had to watch it kind of on the way home. Okay, I'm good. Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate it. All right, y'all. We about to get into it. I didn't take no notes. So I'm going straight off the dome. And the episode was so lackluster, you didn't really need no notes. Okay. If I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to be straight up honest. This season finale was a 3. It was a smooth 3. And I only gave it a 3 because Miss Karen showed up. Other than that, I just don't know what the heck. They had other episodes that was better than this that wasn't even a season finale. This was so ridiculous, so lackluster. A lot of it, Kelly said it was a 2. A lot of it didn't even need to be had. It was just so stupid. Okay. I didn't like it. And I don't know why for the life of me. When season finales come, it's supposed to draw you in to the point where you want to come back for the next season. And this one did not do that for me. Okay. So I gave it a 3. Let's kick it off with Will and Courtney. I don't know why Will and Courtney is still even, they should have just wrapped them up with some words on the screen. But for the life of me, they still want to keep them coming on and keep them talking for some reason. I don't know if they had to make sure that they fulfilled the end of the episode contract or what it was. However, they had nothing. They're still in the confessional. Will is still trying to figure out why this relationship didn't work. Will, stop trying to make fetch happen. It did not work. What's up, Andrew? What's up? What's up? Thank you so much. Will is still trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen, Will. You married a freaking convict, and now you're trying to figure out why the heck it didn't work out. Courtney even said, you got on this pen pal site. Did you think that getting on this pen pal site was going to mean that you were going to have this little Molly homemaker type chick? It wasn't going to happen. You got it on a website for felons. And then when the relationship didn't work out, now you're confused at why it didn't work out. That's stupid to me. Okay. So we sit up here and we have Will. He's up here like, who did you sleep with? What happened? We're doing a review for Life After Lockup. This is the season finale. Show comes on Fridays on WeTV. Okay, if you're just now joining me, welcome. I do this every week. I do product reviews. I do reaction videos. I do all types of stuff on this channel. It's a lifestyle channel. If that's your vibe, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Okay. And so Will is trying to figure out, who did you sleep with? Were you ever cheating on me? Courtney then lets us know that yes, soon as her and Will broke up, she got into bed with somebody. Now she didn't specify who it was. I think it was the girl that dropped her off. Okay, because I don't care what nobody say. Courtney rolls both ways. Okay. Reaction viz makes sense. Okay. So Courtney rolls both ways. I don't care what nobody says. Thank you for subbing, Andrew. Thank you. Welcome to the family. And so he sits up here and he's like, I knew it. I knew she messed with somebody. Courtney sit up here laughing. She takes it as a big old joke. Their relationship is over. Will is up here going to the airport, leaving Portland finally to go back to California. Courtney, we find out, gets a job at an auto body shop. She says she likes working on cars and everything. She says that she's not in a relationship with the woman, but I think that's a lie, because why would you bring that up if she is not in your life as one of your partners? Okay. She says one thing that she learned from this relationship is that she does not want to be with a kind of a weak, flimsy, simp type dude. Okay. That's not for her. All right. And so her and Will is over, moving on to the next couple. That's all they really had going on. Letitia and Keith. Another couple that didn't have nothing going on, that was up and down roller coaster. Okay. So last week, y'all remember, Keith Letitia got mad because Keith act like he didn't really want to marry her, okay? And so he goes and get in the car with Aunt Marcia and lets Letitia cool off. He's riding with Aunt Marcia saying he don't want to do no wedding. It takes a lot of money, things like that. They got to save. They got certain stuff going on, okay? Fast forward, he gets to the house. Letitia laying in her bed with her outside clothes. You know, I don't understand why people do that. What is their problem? I hate when people get in the bed with their outside clothes. They're outside clothes for a reason. Y'all know how dirty this world is, and you jump in the good old bed with your outside clothes on. That is insane to me, but people do it all the time, okay? Picking up all the stuff that's in the world. Okay. What's up, Jasmine? Welcome to the live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And so she get in the bed with her out. She in the bed with her outside clothes on. I'm like, Letitia is crazy for doing that. Okay. And so then Keith comes in the room and she's just on her phone and he's like, you know, why you mad and stuff like that. She's like, you know why I'm mad and all of this. Okay, they end up kissing and making up. He tells her, okay, Sassy Ann, oh, hold on. Okay, I don't know what that means. What's up? I can't pronounce your name. Jim, you for life. We are talking about our review for the season finale of Life After Lockup. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and like the video. Okay, I do a plethora of things on this particular channel. All right, hold on, y'all. And so they kiss and make up, right? Letitia and Keith. They kiss and make up. And then Keith is up here talking to her, giving her words of encouragement, words of endearment. Okay. He goes and tells her. Now, I don't know what happened to the good old days when a man was just like, you know what, I love you very much. You're my everything. You mean the world to me. All of these beautiful, sweet things that men used to say. Keith stands over Letitia and says, you know, you my B. I F with you. I don't want to F with no other B's and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just kind of, what's up, Joseph? Okay. What's up, Joseph? Welcome to the live. And so he stands over her and he's up here saying, yeah, you my ride or die B. I don't want to F with no other B, no other B's are for me and all this other stuff. What's up, I am? So, or I am. So I'm up here like, what happened to the good old days? That's not terms of endearment when you're sitting up here just pouring into a woman with all these curse words and stuff. What kind of ghetto fabulous mess is that? And Letitia's up here eating it all up. I'm sorry. I'm the type of chick where I need a man to say, you're beautiful. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being in my life. Those are terms of endearment, not what Keith was up here saying. He was talking to her like he was a rapper or straight out of Compton. And she just eating it up. Okay. So they kiss and make up. Fast forward, Letitia is blindfolded right in the car with Keith. And what's crazy to me is they trying to make us think that Letitia didn't know where she was going. Ma'am, you had on a white dress and everything, so you knew where you were going, because if you didn't, why would you wear said outfit that you wore? Okay. She gets to the daggone location and they pull up at a park. I said, this season's episodes is sponsored by parks. When you want to go on a date, take a chick to a park. If you want to do anything, take somebody to the park. Okay. And so Keith goes and he takes her to this park, okay? And you pull up, and her daughters are there, his son is there, Aunt Marcia is there, and Keith's father is there presiding over the ceremony. So we go to find out that they are going to renew their vows, okay? I didn't know Keith's father was an ordained minister. I thought the vow renewal or weddings and things had to happen in front of an ordained minister, not just somebody you got about the good old family that can read. Okay. I didn't know that Keith's father could do this, but whatever. Okay. Keith's father standing up there with the Bobby Brown haircut, and he is up there about to, tell them to exchange vows. Okay. Keith said something that was just crazy. I don't know what he said. I don't remember. I told you I ain't take no notes this episode. I just kind of winged it because I had a really long weekend. So Keith goes, because Letitia gets her vows and she says whatever she says. She gets a little emotional. Okay. And then, hold on, y'all. She gets a little emotional, saying her little, vows back to him. And then they pan over to the youngest daughter, and she has got this serious face on, and she starts getting emotional and crying. And I'm like, why is this little girl crying? This little girl needs some therapy, okay? Because she crashes out over Keith. It's this really weird affection that she has towards him. And flow with me. I don't know if y'all understand what I'm saying, but just flow with me, okay? Because she gets overly dramatic, overly emotional towards Keith. It's something that is like a feeling that you would get for, I guess, your man, so to speak, or your father. It's this type of relationship that babies have. And I studied this when I was in school, right? So, babies, when they are like 2 years old, if you have mommy and daddy that come together and kiss and everything, the baby, if it's a girl, she gets jealous. She tries to break them apart and cling on to the dad because I forgot what it's called. It's some type of affection that the babies have, the opposite sex babies have with each parent. You said she's just very emotional. Okay, Kelly. But it's just like and they'll grow out of it. They'll grow out of it if you properly grow them out of it, right? And explain to them that mommy and daddy are in a relationship like this, right? But for some reason, it gives me these vibes that she has that type of affection towards Keith. And I don't know if it's because she never really had her dad in her life, so she didn't get a chance to break out of that. I mean, if y'all understand what I'm saying, yes, and I agree, she is very emotional, but it made me think about that. Okay. But anyway, she gets emotional at this wedding. She hugs on Keith. He lets her know everything's going to be okay. For the first time since this season has started and since last season has started, we actually saw Letitia's oldest daughter laugh. Okay. And I was like, oh my God, she's so beautiful when she smiles, right? She actually smiled and was happy. Now, I don't know. Maybe she's gotten used to her mom's shenanigans or Keith. She looking for love. Yes, and Keith, absolutely, Kelly. And that's a sad situation, right? That's why I feel that her dad needs to step it up, her biological dad, whoever he is, and Keith needs to not disappoint her because what she's going through at this young age is very crucial and critical because these are the times that the male figure in her life can make or break her, right? And they need to be careful in how they're doing this. So we see the kids give a confessional. The daughter says, I hope they live peacefully until they die or something, she said. And the daughter thought that was funny. Okay. I chuckled a little bit and I was like, wow, dad. So little boy says he's happy and all of this. And so everybody's happy in this moment. Okay. First of all, let's just talk about Keith's outfit real quick. Keith showed up like he was about to go to a cookout afterwards. Letitia wasn't dressed to the nines or nothing like that. And I get it. They were having it at a park, something really small, something really quaint. I get all of that. However, I don't know why this was rushed and this was just all unorganized and all over the place because I get it. Keith was trying to appease Letitia because of the argument that they had. But I think if they would have took their time and planned something, they could have had something still small, intimate, but it could have been a little bit more thought out. Like it's like they just threw this in for TV. It was like they showed up at a park. Keith was in his daggone little what was that tan little short set. He ain't even want to get like a little, a little long little pants, like not a suit, but one of those, what's those old man suits? Those little lavender suits or whatever. What's up, Kenneth? Okay. So he didn't show up in one of them little suits or something. He could have showed up in something a little better, in my opinion. I just think this all was just fluff for the cameras. I think they could have took their time and planned something out great, but maybe they rushed it because we didn't find out at the end of their segment that Letitia got arrested after the filming was over for identity theft and fraud and something else, right? And so she had her mugshot on the screen. The case is still pending, so we don't know how long Letitia is going to actually go to jail, if she's going to do any time. But I believe she might do a couple of months or whatever. She says that she thanks Keith for taking on her youngest child. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but we shall see. Their whole relationship is just toxic. And if she goes to jail, and my thoughts is that Keith is not going to step it up. Joseph said, even though it was a small park wedding, I also like to see Justine and Michael. There's nothing wrong with this kind of wedding for renewal. Cost less defined. Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, keep it small, keep it quaint. I just feel like it was a little thrown together, in my opinion. I feel like it was a little thrown together. Nothing wrong with the park weddings and coming together and all of that, or the small beach weddings and things. But it just seemed like they just threw this real quick together, I guess. I don't know. My opinions. But let's move on. That was it with Letitia and Keith. She has ended up she's possibly going to jail for a period of time. I'm very concerned if Keith is going to step up, be there by her side, and actually take on that youngest daughter. That concerns me. I don't know. Let's move on to Mike and Justine. These two get on my nerves because they don't have a storyline, and they set up here and played in our face this whole season, especially on the last couple of episodes. Why, Mike, if you are broke, would you take your raggedy tail to New York and look at venues knowing you didn't have the money to have a wedding? And Justine, she got 15 years. She got more than Diddy. Oh my gosh. And I'm gonna talk about the Diddy case too. I'm gonna do a reaction video. It ain't gonna be today. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I can't believe that 15 years. Wow. That just blew my mind away. I gotta find that out. Wow. That's crazy. But Mike and Justine, Mike is full of crap because, sir, you knew already, right? That you didn't have the money to give this woman the wedding that she wants. But instead, you made her let her get on the plane. You let her get all excited about going to go see a venue in New York. You let her think in her mind that this was actually going to happen, the family to come through, all for you to have to borrow $1,000 from your mom to even fund that trip that y'all were on. And then to go and tell her at a gift shop that the wedding is not going to happen. Now, Justine is full of crap because she already knew it wasn't going to happen because of her reaction. She did not react as if she had no clue that the wedding wasn't going to happen, okay? Because the way that she's been crashing out on this episode about every little thing, that would have made me think if he would have told her it wasn't going to happen and she would have crashed out even more. But she already knew, that's why she didn't react the way she should have. She's a bad actress, okay? If you're going to act on these reality shows, then give us something, okay? Make us feel like we can believe it, all right? So they in the good old gift shop, right? Joseph says, I don't know who's milking this storyline to the max. It's between Justine and Michael and Will and Courtney. I know, right? I think Will and Courtney milked it more than anything else because in my opinion, they could have been gone like 3 or 4 episodes ago. They could have been over. So they in a good old gift shop, right? Because they supposed to be going to go see some show or something. They up here looking at the trinkets and all this other stuff, ain't buying nothing but having this conversation, right? And so Mike, several times during this episode and last episode, Mike kept bringing up, if I was selling drugs, if I had the drug game on lock, I could make 60 G's. If I could do this with the drugs. I'm like, Mike, do you want to go back and sell the good old drugs? I'm trying to understand, okay? He up here saying, if I had the drugs, if I had this, if I had that. And he just kept on saying it. And I was like, Mike, what is the problem? Do you want to go back and sell drugs? I'm just confused. And then when he borrowed $1,000 from the mom, they played it like he was going to go do something or flip the $1,000 with drugs or something like that. Okay. But that wasn't the case. And so he's basically telling Justine in this gift shop, look, we don't got the money. We don't have the money to have this wedding. We got kids that's going to college and all this other stuff. And Justine is like, well, why didn't you tell me? Why do you hold stuff up? And he's like, not only is the wedding not happening, the barbershop not happening. He's talking about one of their engines inside of one of their cars, because they rent luxury cars in Vegas. I never heard of them, but hey, I ain't everybody, so I don't know, right? And so he said one of their engines need to be replaced, and it's going to be a lot of money. They only have like 15,000 in the bank or something like that. He said a lot of fluff that he was giving her. She didn't look surprised at all. But Mike, you need to stop doing these freaking get rich quick schemes. You need to stop acting like you a scammer type dude. You have a family, sir. You have a wife, and you got about 9 million kids at that house. Go get a freaking 9 to 5, maybe 2 of them, until one of them businesses hit, because at the end of the day, you got to make something happen. You got a house that you got to pay. You got kids you got to take care of. You got this wife. And then Justine is alluding to the fact that, oh, well, if we didn't have the wedding, possibly I could have been on the line, like she was leaving. Justine, cut it out. You ain't going nowhere. You love Mike's dirty draws. When he was locked up, you was even accepting his toenails and hair clippings and all other types of stuff. So don't try to sit up here and act like that you going anywhere, because you're not, okay? You know it's better to be with him and try to get a bag than not, okay? Justine needs to work too. Talk about it, Kelly. She does need to work. What's up, Andrea? How are you? How are you? Welcome to the live. She needs to go ahead and get a job too. If not a full-time job, a part-time job, do something. But they need to come together. Now, the only reason why I feel like I might let Justine pass and not working is because it's so many kids. And then they have two young babies. Now, I understand they could do daycare. However, in this generation, Justine ain't going, she ain't going nowhere, Joseph. In this generation, daycare is very pricey. And I feel as if you can't trust all daycare providers. So if it was me and I had two young babies back to back, I probably wouldn't want to work either. I would want to stay home until they at least got an elementary school, then go get a job. The man can do it all. However, the man is supposed to lead his family and he is supposed to handle it more than the woman, if that makes sense. And this is in my opinion. Only reason I say that is because um like I said, Justine has had two small babies. And I understand that they could do daycare. I understand that Mike's mom is there. Now Mike's mom is there. That is a help because, and I almost forgot about her, because Mike's mom is there. Justine can go get some form of job because the rest of them kids are old enough where they're in school. You only got the two youngest ones, right? That really need, that attention. But Justine can go get a job because Mike's mom is there, and a lot of cultures do that. They bring on the grandparents to help out with the kids. So now, and I forgot about Mike's mom, but if Mike's mom wasn't there, I would be more on the side of her staying home to raise the babies, not them other kids, but the babies, only because of the high cost of daycare. Now, when I researched daycare a couple of years ago, when my sister was having her kids, for three of their kids to go in daycare, it would have been over $1,000 a week. And so her husband told her, listen, stay at home and I'll take care of the house and the bills and stuff. And when her kids got in elementary school age, then my sister went to work, right? And so I believe that is something that could be a thing. However, Mike's mom is there. So I would say Justine go get a job because Mike's mom can help y'all. However, Justine don't want to work. She wants to live this glamazon lifestyle. As we can see, ever since she touched down in New York, she's had these fake furs on, these heels, looking like Zsa Zsa Gabor or whatever. She had these glasses on. Like she really wants to think that she's some type of freaking celebrity, right? And so her and Michael be looking. Michael looks stressed out. Remember when we met Mike? He was he was slimmer. He had long flowing hair. Now he looked like old in the face. He got his hair is like breaking off or short. I don't know if he cut it or what. He done got fatter. Like it's a lot of stuff going on because he is trying to maintain and keep Justine happy, right? But he getting in over his head because he's trying to be a superstar too, instead of just doing like most people do. Get a job. And you can't afford to not have a job when you got 9 kids and then you got 2 of them in college. Sir, stop all the side hustles and all of the get rich quicks. Just go get a job. I'm not saying don't work on a business. Definitely work on a business, but you got to get some income coming up in there. And these 11 lockup checks may be looking good, right? They may. I don't know how much they get. However, with 9 kids and then your mama in the house too, you need to get something. Something needs to come in. Anyway, Justine says everybody can be a rapper. And he's still trying to hold on to the rap career too. So Justine is saying, listen, let's go to the show. Already got the tickets. Let's just go to the show. To wrap them up, they said that they're going to plan a wedding for 2026. I said, y'all set up here and had us with this whack storyline of y'all possibly getting married, planning a wedding. He didn't know how to tell Justine he couldn't plan the wedding. All this stuff for y'all storyline. And y'all turn around and talk about some y'all not getting married until 2026. Full of crap. I don't want to see them no more. They suck. Okay. They're talking about they're happy that Mike's daughter is about to go off to college. And that was it with them. Okay. Let's move on to the next couple, which is going to be JK and Brooke. Brooke slapped 3 songs out of JK. Okay. Brooke slapped the dog doodle out of JK. Brooke slapped JK. The season finale out of JK. Brooke slapped this man in the face and was very disrespectful. First of all, y'all remember last week the police pulled up. Now that was a bust because they ain't do nothing. Maybe they was just pulling up to patrol the neighborhood. I don't know. But producers trying to make it seem like they was going to come and either get Brooke or JK, and that didn't happen, okay? They out there arguing in front of JK's mama house, okay? And he up here saying, shoot, you get on my nerves. You make me sick. Why you think I slept with Alex? Here goes Brooke. Bap. I said, I know she didn't hit that. I said, it couldn't have been me. It couldn't have been me because I couldn't have been no man because I'm hitting you back. You're not about to freaking slap me in the face and I'm just going to be like, oh, really? No. Brooke is unhinged. But see, if JK would have hit her back, Brooke is the type of chick that would have ran straight to the police. Joseph said, and if Justine and Michael does come back, the first scene I better see is them and their family having that dang wedding. Exactly. What's up, Rowan? Welcome to the live. Joseph, I agree. It better be as much as they talked about it. So he goes, she slaps him. He's up here like, you know what? Get out from in front of my family house. And she was like, I can't trust you, JK. It's over, blah, blah, blah. So he goes in the house. He calls her a stupid AB in front of his mother, in front of their guest roommate, and in front of the father. One thing that Brooke and JK have in common is that they don't have any respect for their parents, any respect for any elders. Their mouths are disgusting and trash. They cuss in front of their parents like they're just talking regular, okay? I am 43 and I still wouldn't cuss in front of my mom. Like that is just disrespectful and crazy, okay? And so, but they don't care. They just rattle off whatever they feel at the moment in front of their parents, and most of the time it's trashy, nasty stuff and cuss words. Joseph said, JK was holding back on hitting Brooke. I kind of saw that because those cameras were there. I feel like he was holding back too because he said, I was like, you know what, JK? Bump them cameras. She slapped you. First of all, JK, you could have called the police and pressed charges against her because that's assault. She hit you in the face and they got it on film, so she can't say she didn't do it. But I think he just wanted to be done with her. And maybe he was like, I just got out of jail. I'm a felon. I don't know the rights and all of that. I don't know. But anyway, he went in the house. The mom told JK, look, you need to worry about yourself. You need to leave Brooke alone. You need to focus on yourself. That type of woman is going to end up getting you locked back up and you need to cut it out. And while they was up there playing good old goldfish at the table, she was putting down the cards saying, look, you need to be done with that woman. Okay. So fast forward. Now all of a sudden we see Brooke boys come into the scene. Now all of a sudden she wants to be mother of the year. Now all of a sudden all the energy she was putting into JK, now she putting it into her boys. I'm like, you're trash, Brooke, okay? Straight up, pure D, day old stale trash. Because now all of a sudden we see you with your boys, okay? Joseph says, I think he should have hit her back. He should have hit her back, but at least could have stepped on her big toe or something. I mean, really, or pushed her. Because the way she hit him, it looked like it hurt. Brooke, the type of woman that, listen, I'm not even going to say what I'm thinking, but she need to be at least been pushed or shook real hard or something. I don't know. But anyway, so fast forward, right? Brooke get her boys. We see them go get ice cream. She goes and had this conversation with them. One of her sons is 9 years old, the one that was too grown and should not have been speaking in this way about another grown person. But when Brooke is your mother, you don't have any type of morals, discipline, or respect for any type of adult, okay? Even if JK is who he is, that is still that little boy's elder, and he still should not have been privy to adult conversation. And Brooke sits up here and lets us know, I don't know where he got that from. I don't tell them these things. Lies, Brooke, because the way your mouth is, you probably were talking to your mom and your boys were sitting on the steps listening. Because how many of us remember when our parents or any elders was having deep conversations, they thought we wasn't listening. We'd be on the steps listening or be somewhere around the corner or whatever. Kids don't always go to bed or go play whenever you tell them to, Brooke. So some of these conversations you should have had outside of the house, but no, you had them in front of your boys and outside, and when you thought your boys wasn't in the room. And we're going to know that when we get to the car scene, okay? So anyway, she's at the ice cream parlor. She's up here talking to her sons, talking about me and JK broke up. The 9-year-old was talking about good. Okay. Kelly says the way that little boy talking about JK, it was so sad, right? It lets us know what type of mother that Brooke really is. Okay. So he's up here talking about some good. JK is a drug addict. You deserve better. I was like, how does he know that JK is on drugs? And then, kids only see their parents in a certain light. See, these boys didn't see her slap JK. These boys didn't see her fighting Alex. These boys didn't see her going to JK's mama house, pushing his dad out the way, cussing and yelling, acting a fool. All they know is the Brooke that she presents in front of her boys. Right, he ain't lying. He is a drug dealer. But I'm like, who told him that he was a drug dealer? Like, I mean, a drug addict. How would he even know that, right? And so he goes and says, the boys goes and says they're not sad. And the little boys does a confessional. And I don't know why producers let these kids do confessionals. However, the little boy goes and says, he ain't did nothing for us that he said he was going to do. So basically good riddance or whatever it is. And I'm just like, see, Brooke, and that's why you a trash mom, because why would you sit up here and make these boys feel like that JK is going to be this model dude, this dude is going to be there for them and do all these things for them, and he hasn't even proven himself to you when he got out of prison. Joseph said even though those boys were spitting facts, they shouldn't have known all the info right about JK, and that's because Brooke talked to her boys about JK. Okay, because you can't make me kids should stay in kids' places. Their main focus as kids should be eating ice cream, eating pizza, playing outside, going to school, getting into a little bit of kiddie trouble. You know what I'm saying? Though that's kids should not worry about where we going to live at, how we going to pay the rent, who mom dating, who she sleep with, all this stuff. That is adult stuff. Kids need to stay in kids' place. Adults need to stay in adult place. But see, when you got this generation of parents, most of them blur the lines. They put their kids in adult business and have kids growing up far earlier than what they need to be. And Brooke is one of them type of mamas. So fast forward, we see Brooke in the car and she's driving with her boys, telling some yay relocation. So Brooke is now going to move her boys to Galveston, Texas. Okay. And while she in the car, she gets a phone call. You have a prepaid call from the inmate at correctional facility. Now, at first I thought it was JK. I said, wait a minute now, JK back in jail? No, Brooke ain't learned her lesson from JK. She's on to other inmates, several inmates. They let us know that she is dating. Okay, I said, this woman has not learned yet. She talking about the next dude that come into her life is not going to meet her boys for 5 years. How is that possible? How you going to marry somebody or even date somebody that is not going to meet your sons, ma'am? You are a package deal. Your sons come with you. And that's the problem that she doesn't understand. And that's what we saw with her doing with JK. While you put your sons over here and you dealt with JK over here, right? And that's why them boys feel the way they do about JK, because they only saw the dude one time, okay? But you fed them all this information and all these things about all this stuff that he was going to do. She up here dating several inmates now, ain't learned a freaking lesson to move the kids to Galveston. I don't know where her mom lives at in relation to Galveston, but your mom is your support system, Brooke. So why would you move that far away from your mom, or if it's far at all? I don't know, but she is now working for some daycare in Galveston. Joseph says, I hope he says, I hope those boys don't grow up with a lot of resentment for their mother. Absolutely. Because the 12-year-old didn't say much. The 9-year-old was talking a lot, but the 12-year-old was sitting back very observant, like he was just like, because I think he's coming into a reality of his mom, her making bad choices about these dudes that she's been with and all types of stuff. See, the 9-year-old still is a little impressionable, still has this love for his mom. And I'm not saying the 12-year-old doesn't, but the 12-year-old is kind of coming into them preteen, teenage years. And so he not as dumb as you think, Brooke. And he's starting to really look at you a certain way, because he ain't really say a whole lot. But that 9-year-old was popping off when he should have got popped for popping off about somebody. Even if you ain't rocking with JK, Brooke, you need to tell him that's a grown man. You don't talk about adults and grown people. Stay in the child's place. But she wouldn't have said that. But anyway, that's it with them. Let's move on to the next couple. Thank y'all for being here. If you haven't done so already, smash that like button and subscribe to the Redefine Me channel. Okay, let's get on to Troy and Z. All right, Troy and Z had nothing. They gave nothing this season. They shouldn't even have been on this season. They suck. Okay, now in comes Miss Karen. Y'all know last week Troy went to go pick up Miss Karen. She was at the train station. She gets up in the car. Miss Karen is drunk and high. You can tell that she's drunk and high by the way that her daggone hair look on her head. Okay, she had a lot. I mean, I don't know what was going on with that daggone wig that she had on her head. It was just all over the place. Okay, so Miss Karen gets up in the house and she's like, "Oh my God, you're pregnant." Because Z, of course, is 6 months pregnant at this point in time, right? And she's just like, yeah, I'm pregnant, whatever. I think Miss Karen already knew by the way she was acting. But she comes up in the house and she's up here making them something to eat and everything. And so they sit down and have a conversation. I was confused about what was going on with Miss Karen because she was up here saying, the thing is that you don't respect me and Troy disrespects me, and you should have had a conversation with your husband and told him that he needs to talk to his mom. And she was like, but you didn't rock with me either. You was giving me all this attitude and pushback and all this other stuff. And so that's why I didn't say anything. And she was like, y'all brought me up here for this. Why am I here? And I was like, what am I watching right now? Is she having a bipolar episode? Is the drugs kicking in, Miss Karen? What is going on right now? I was so confused. Z was sitting there, Troy was sitting there. Then 2 seconds later, she sits up here and she's like, well, this what we do. And they start laughing. And I was just like, what is going on here? She gives Z a hug. She's talking about, I see that my son is happy and that's all I want, him to be happy. She tears up a little bit outside on that patio. And I was just like, I said, I'm just confused. Miss Karen says something though that I disagree with. She says that even though she wasn't around like that, he lived with his aunt and he had everything that he needed. Now we saw Troy when they were on like a season ago that he actually did grow up with, I won't say a silver spoon in his mouth, but he had a lot of things in his life that was good. It wasn't as bad as he, tried to allude, right? However, Miss Karen, you are his mother, and you not being there and having him around other people instead of being with you has affected him. I don't know why you think it doesn't. Now, I do agree with her when she said, I'm not looking for no grown people. Y'all grown. I get that part, right? However, a lot of Troy's emotional issues come from Miss Karen being in the state that she was in while he was younger. And so she needs to take ownership for that. But how can you get somebody that is high and drunk to can y'all hear me? My little microphone died. Give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear me. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. I'm just gonna hold this one. Okay, so Miss Karen, you got to take ownership and be responsible for the role that you played in Troy's life when he was younger. Um, just because he's grown now. See, parenting starts at birth, actually before birth. Okay, everything you eat, people that you're around, your emotions, the baby feels all of that, right? And the time that they're born up until they graduate high school or even when they are adults, you play a part. You play a part. Now, when they get grown, yeah, they grown, they going about their way. But in those rearing years, those are important years. And if you're drunk and high and he's not with you and all of that, how do you think that plays on him up here? And if he never gets the proper therapy for it, he's going to grow up and he's going to be a total mess like he is now. Last week, rubbing his father's ashes all in his head and on his chest and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a part of him crashing out because he did not properly have a stable parental figures in his life. Now, Troy is the one who has legit abandonment issues compared to Justine. Absolutely. Justine playing this game, right, with her mom, okay, for a storyline. But Troy actually has some issues and needs Jesus in therapy. I'm telling you, because, and then they're bringing a child into this, into him and Z's life. And both of them have issues, right? However, it's like, the unfortunate part is that, anybody can make a baby. And that's the unfortunate part because you, if you're emotionally unstable, you could pass on that generational curse onto your child. And it's like, I pray for that baby. I pray that doesn't happen, that they raise a healthy, happy baby. Justine mama went to jail. She lost our, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's pause on Z and Troy. Kelly said Justine mama went to jail. She lost her RN license. Do you know why? I need to get more in tune with the Love at the Lockup news. I know Starcasm probably puts it out at who's the other girl YouTube channel that normally puts out Love at the Lockup stuff. And I just don't be in it. Like, I be reviewing the shows, but I don't know what be happening outside of that unless it comes out it is a thing. Dang, why did she lose her RN license? Oh my gosh. Maybe Justine mom need to move in with them in Vegas. Justine mama was arrested for drinking and driving. Oh, drinking and driving. She got a DUI? Justine mama. Justine mama. I'm telling you, Justine mama. I said that when they started talking about the wedding and she started talking about, well, my wedding was 100K and blah blah. I started side-eyeing her because I was like, oh, well, maybe that's where Justine gets that bougie ghetto taste from. And now that this is surfaced, it's like, okay, Justine mama, look, I don't know what you're going through. Maybe Justine might have some points to y'all relationship growing up or something. I don't know, because I was on the mom side. And I ain't saying we all make mistakes, right? Even in your older age, you could still make mistakes. But Justine mom, I'm side eyeing you just a little bit, child, just a little bit. So with Z and Troy, that was it for them. They are, I don't even remember what their wrap up was. Y'all can drop it in the comments if y'all remember. I think they're anticipating their boy, they're having a boy and everything. And I believe they're trying to plan their wedding from what we could sense. Miss Karen was like, y'all just brought me here so y'all can have a babysitter. I said, yo, Miss Karen off the hook. And then they gonna show Miss Karen the sonogram photos, and she was like, where's his penis? I was like, somebody get Miss Karen up out of here, right? And so I guess it was Mother's Day when they was filming in a confessional, because Troy goes and gives flowers in a bag to Miss Karen and to Z. And then Miss Karen says, all right, look, I'm tired of all this confessional stuff. I'm trying to get back home, child. I got things to do. And she literally left the confessionals and got back to Buffalo. I said, child, Miss Karen, you can't do nothing but laugh at her. It's like, it's sad on one hand, but it's funny on the other hand. It's just crazy to me. But anyway, y'all, let's move past them on to the next couple, which is going to be Demadric, Kiana, and Joella. Child. They ain't have nothing going on, right? Okay, so Kiana and Demadric came from some date, I guess, and she's like, thank you for the date and all this. They riding in the car, right? He get a text message from Joella saying that, listen, if Kiana would meet up with me, I would drop the charges, okay? So Joella just knows that Kiana's going to come meet her, right? So she goes to some diner, orders some milkshake or whatever the heck she was drinking, and she's sitting up there waiting. Joella looked real desperate, lonely, and sad, waiting there by herself to entertain these people that don't give a crap about her. This man is not going to be with you, Joella. But she feels like maybe if she tells Kiana that your man is still sleeping up in my sheets, that she's going to leave him. And then because they have 3 kids together, that he's going to run back to her. Ma'am, stop being a pick Misha, okay? Stop it. The man doesn't want you. He only wants your cooch. And I don't know why, for the life of me, you cannot get that through your 27 piece. Why is it that you sitting up here still wanting him? He doesn't want you. Stop trying to make him want you. It's not working. It's only making you look like an idiot. And so now he tells Kiana, of course, Kiana is like, I'm not going to go meet her. So they never show up to meet her. Joella is sitting up here asking for the check, looking so sad and whatever, paying and leaving. Now, fast forward, Joella doubles down on this moment and says, well, if you won't meet me, I'm going to go meet you. So she goes and rides over to Kiana's house, y'all. And I'm like, girl, why are you doing this? Where is your children? I don't understand why these women sit up here and put all this stock into these men, and they got 2, 3 kids that they need to be worried about. Where is your freaking children? You sitting up here about to ride over her house and cause an issue. So she rides up over Kiana's house, and the camera people cut the screen, right? Because they say that they want their privacy. We can still kind of hear some of the stuff that's going on. She's like, girl, get away from me. Why are you here? And all this stuff and blah, 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 blah. Really, they just said a whole bunch of nothing. So Kiana says that I don't want to talk to Joella. She's the type of person you can't talk to and all of that. I don't understand why they just couldn't have a woman to woman, Brandy and Monica, the boy is mine moment or something. I don't know why they just couldn't have a conversation. What is the big deal? Why do y'all have to go at each other when y'all see each other? Compare the notes and realize the common denominator that is in the middle of all of this mess is Demadric. He goes and tells us that they got deep rooted issues, that he is not the reason that they are having issues. I said, boy, first of all, I already told y'all, you can't trust no dudes with 1990 plus and a bust down part in the middle. You can't trust a dude like that. Talking about something, he not the problem. But sir, yes, you are. You are the problem. You're the reason why these women are up here acting like this. Now, it has to be because of the D, because I can't see nothing else. He ain't giving boatloads of money. He ain't got no winning personality. He ain't even that attractive. So I'm just like, what the heck is going on? Why are they crashing out over this dude? But why? Because both of them love him, and he is whispering sweet nothings, emphasis on the word nothing, in their ear. Joella, go on about your business, okay? I don't even know what it was that wrapped them up. I don't remember what it was that was said. Probably a whole bunch of nothing. I think Kiana and Demadric are living together. I don't know what happened with Joella. But anyway, I don't want to see them no more. Let's round it out with Dan and Bianca. Y'all already know they already broke up. That's one of the other couples that was on the show. They broke up already. Y'all know Dan is back in jail. He up here doing his little confessional from the good old prison cell. And I don't want to say I gloat and glory in people's misery, but I'm just going to say this, Dan, that's what you get, okay? You reap what you sow. You treated this girl like trash. You thought you was high above the hog, and then you ended up back in jail. Now he's out of jail, and my, how the mighty has fallen. He's now living in a sober living facility. Remember, he got with Bianca so he wouldn't have to live in a halfway house or any of those things. But look how the tables have turned. Now you're in a sober living facility. Daniel. Bianca has moved on. She got a new boyfriend. And she is expecting a child. I think she already had the baby. Joella Bold going to, girl, okay, Kelly. Because if you would have came to my house, I would have been like, what are you doing here? First of all, she bold for going to that woman's house because she don't know what that woman got. She could have had a pow pow behind that door, and you showing up at her house. She already don't like you. You know what I'm saying? What if something would have went down? But again, y'all got this man making y'all act stupid. So Bianca, yeah, she's got a new boyfriend. Who else had a new boyfriend? That I forgot to say. Courtney. Courtney has some dude that she's dating. It doesn't look promising, you know, but we shall see. Anyway, y'all, that was it with that episode. The episode was trash. I gave it a 3. On a scale of 1 to 10, I gave it a 3. It did not give anything. If I did not like Love After Lockup, I would not do Life After Lockup anymore, because the season finale, like I said in the beginning, is supposed to want to bring you back to watch the next season. But this season finale was so lackluster, so trash, that it didn't make me want to come back and watch it. I'm just saying. But I gave y'all what happened. the best that I could remember because, like I said, I had a long weekend. I didn't get a chance to physically take notes, but I watched it right before I got on with y'all, and it just wasn't good. It wasn't good. I don't want to see it anymore. Yeah, everybody that broke up was Will and Courtney, Dan and Bianca, JK and Brooke. So out of the 6 couples, 3 of them broke up and are no longer together, which is great because we need some new blood anyway. So next up is going to be Love After Lockup. Now, Love After Lockup is when we're going to probably get introduced to some new couples. I don't want to see. We need all new couples. When Life After Lockup come, we need all new couples. Hopefully, Love After Lockup brings all new cast members, and then when Life After Lockup comes, we can get all new cast members from the Love After Lockup. Okay, Brooke need to come back with one of the. Listen, Kelly, I think that Brooke is going to come back on Love After Lockup with one of these inmates. I think that's what she's doing right now. See, because Brooke, it was a storyline that she didn't have no job, right? But I think the Love After Lockup checks, she saw the vision in them Love After Lockup checks. So I think she's auditioning inmates right now to come back on Love After Lockup with a new one. Joseph said they need to take it back to the day of Michael. Listen, Michael, Sarah, and Megan was good TV. Remember Sarah with her black scent? And she kept making it seem like that's the way I sound. Girl, bye. She was trying to sound black because Michael was black. And I was like, and at first I didn't notice it. And then I kept watching it and I was like, she is trying, because you knew she threw her accent. Whenever she got around her friends and family and stuff, she was Sarah, white girl Sarah. As soon as she got around Michael and any black friends, it was all this. Girl, I said, girl, cut it out. Michael was absolute trash. I told y'all can't trust no dudes with 1990 braids. Remember, Michael used to have them braids with no hang time and stuff. But they was good TV, good trashy TV, right? So I don't know. I don't think they would ever come back. But baby, they need to do something. And you know who else was good? What was her name? The heavy set chick. The heavy set chick. What was her name? Oh, and the light skinned dude. Y'all know her. And she fought his sisters. I cannot remember her name. Hey, don't forget about Scott. Scott and Lizzie was good TV, y'all. For real. When Lizzie knocked out Scott's tooth, I rolled on the floor for an hour. I was laughing so hard. I was like, she just ran. And if your tooth get knocked out, sir, you don't need to be dating no chick. You need to go to the dentist. You talking about Monique. Yes, Joseph. Monique and whatever his name was. Child, they were good TV too. They were good TV too because I was just like, child, I knew it wasn't going to last. I knew it wasn't going to last. I knew it wasn't going to end well. When he took that whipped cream out on one episode and was putting it on her and licking it off of her, and she was sitting up there like, I was like, oh, God. I said, please cut the cameras off, right? Child, but that's Love After Lockup. Hopefully we get some new couples that got some really interesting things going on because this last cast was horrible. I don't want to see none of the old cast members come back, but I got a feeling they're going to bring back Brooke because I think she's auditioning inmates. And I got a feeling they're going to bring also back uh probably Mike and Justine because Mike and Justine is the new what's the Marcelino and Brittany. Was that her name? Yeah, Brittany and Marcelino. Mike and Justine is the new Brittany and Marcelino. Y'all know Brittany and Marcelino held on to Love After Lockup. They rubbed the face off of that money from Love After Lockup. They would not leave. Their exiting season was so trash because they had nothing else to give. They really didn't. And I was actually rooting for them because Brittany came out of prison and she made 180 and she was actually doing very well. But then all of a sudden, it just started to get really weird and stupid. She ended up getting up with another woman, and it was just dumb stuff going on. You know they're gonna bring back Z and Troy because they had a baby. Yeah, probably Z and Troy child. Ugh. I don't know. I don't know why they saved Miss Karen for the season finale. Miss Karen, if she would have showed up more, I feel like it would have been a little better with them. And that's sad that you got to bring in a supporting cast member to make your storyline pop. That's so sad. But anyway, y'all, that is my review for Life After Lockup season finale. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel. Shout out to the replay gang. Make sure you're dropping comments in the comment section. Shout out to all my new subscribers. Thank you all for being here. I really, really appreciate y'all. I'm coming out tomorrow and I'm gonna do a reaction video to Diddy. Diddy has got sentenced, y'all. He has 50 months in prison. All right. However, he's already done a year, so they're going to take that off the sentence. And for good behavior, I feel like he's going to take it down to 2 years. I feel like he's going to be out in 2.5 years. Okay. So they sentenced him to like 4 months, 4 years and a couple of months. Okay. But I feel like, oh, I can't wait for the shot either, Kelly. Excuse me. But I feel like they are going to let Diddy out 2 years and he's probably going to have good behavior or whatever. I hope he learned this lesson, but we're going to talk about it on tomorrow. So make sure your notification button is on. If you have subscribed, I'm going to come out about 6 p.m. and do it. It's the last season of The Shy. Oh, wow. That's one of those bittersweet shows that's going to go off. I knew, but you know what? I felt like The Shy was on its way out. I really did. You ready for Halloween? I already got my decorations up. I don't celebrate Halloween, Joseph. But one thing that I do like is a good scary movie. Not a horror movie because it's a difference, but I do like a good scary movie. But yeah, it's coming. But I don't celebrate it. But yeah, it's definitely coming. But I am ready and enjoying the fall season. I love everything pumpkin. I love the leaves falling off the trees. I love the orange and burgundy colors and all of that. Sweater weather, all of that, all of the things that come along with fall. I am here for it. I love it. Like pumpkins and all of that. I just love fall. Fall is my vibe. Spring and fall are my two seasons that I absolutely love. I would even give winter a go, but summer, I hate summer. Like yes, I like Freddie and Jason movies. As I got older, Freddy Krueger movies is comical for real because if you catch the phrases and catch lines that Freddy Krueger used to say, it's absolutely hilarious. Like, but when I was younger, it used to scare the crap out of me. But now I look at it, I'm laughing. I'm like, this dude is actually a comedian in scary costume. But anyway, y'all. I'm definitely going to be out tomorrow, Motivational Monday, and I'm going to be doing a reaction video to the Diddy case. No, Chucky movies are funny. Yeah, Chucky was funny too. Chucky was funny too. I think The Bride of Chucky was kind of weird. I remember my mom, we had that DVD and she threw away The Bride of Chucky DVD because she was like it was too much. And so yeah. But anyway, I do love a good scary movie, but they don't have any anymore. Like I haven't seen a good scary movie in a long time. Like all of the old school producers and stuff, they kind of like went away. Hello honey, welcome to the live. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Thank you. Make sure you like the video. But yeah, I'm gonna get off of here. I will see you all on tomorrow. Make sure your notification button is on, and I will talk to y'all later. I love y'all so much. Have a good Sunday. Bye. You said, what'd you say, Kelly? Oh, the woman in the yard. The woman in the yard on Peacock is scary. Oh, I might have to check that out. Okay, I'm gonna check that out. The woman in the yard. Okay. All right, y'all. I love y'all so much. Bye.